This week has got me all kinds of excited for the future of VR. The Pico 4 has finally been revealed, and Sony dropped an incredible new trailer for the PlayStation VR2. All of that and some occasional self-promotional plugs coming right up. On September 22nd, 2022, there was a Pico 4 reveal event that went over a ton of new details about the upcoming ByteDance headset. It has been revealed that it's going to ship out on October 18th in Europe, Japan, and South Korea at 429 euros, which converts to about $422.26 US dollars at the time of the writing of this script. Wait, what? Oh, Moving forward, I'll probably just refer to the Pico 4 as costing 420 US dollars because that's just an easier number to say and is much more dope anyway. The $420 price point is for the 128GB model, and a 256GB model is also coming for 499 euros, which today converts to $491.25 US dollars, which we're just going to call $500 because $490 just feels weird. That being said, there was no mention that the Pico 4 would be making its debut launch in the North American market. This is not all that surprising to me, as they considered the Pico 3 in Europe to be a beta program in terms of if it was worth doing business in that market at all. Seeing that Europe is going to be one of the first markets to receive the Pico 4 sounds like good news from Pico's perspective that the European market is still worth doing business in. Japan and South Korea are pretty significant markets as well when it comes to tech in general, so I think it'll be interesting to see how the Pico performs in these markets compared to Meta's offerings, which is something I'm sure they want to measure before moving into the North American market. As for hardware specs, the Pico 4 is using the same Snapdragon XR2 processor as the Quest 2, which is of no real surprise. It will feature pancake lenses, which will allow for the headset to have a slimmer design. Without the strap, the Pico 4 is going to weigh 40% lighter than the Quest 2. This weight reduction is huge. It looks like we're going to be seeing such a design improvement in the Quest Pro as well, so all around this is going to be a very good trend moving forward for new VR tech. With all the weight directly on the front of the headset, using the Quest 2 for hours on end does start to wear on your neck, and I especially feel that during long development sessions for my own VR game. Out of the box, the Pico's battery is going to be in the rear of the headset, which will act as a counterweight. This reveal presentation claimed you'll feel a sense of weightlessness with the headset, but I highly doubt we are that far quite yet. The counterweight battery design is another huge improvement, so you don't need to buy a third-party accessory in order to use your headset comfortably. If you have a Quest 2 and understand these comfort issues, then make sure to check out my affiliate link in the description for Kiwi Designs, where you can check out their accessories to improve your Quest 2 comfort experience. Any purchase made with that affiliate link will also help directly support this channel. When it comes to the Pico 4, I absolutely love the headset and controller design changes, especially compared to the Quest 2. That glossy black panel on the front of the headset looks so sexy and futuristic. The controllers aren't as sexy as the PlayStation VR2's, but definitely look more comfortable and ergonomic compared to the Quest 2 controllers. I'm sure any Quest 2 user could relate to having the two controller rings clash together when bringing your hands a bit too close to each other when playing a VR game. The Pico 4 controllers look to help improve that experience quite significantly. 105 degrees of field of view and 4K resolution are additional one-ups compared to the Quest 2. Of course, this should be somewhat expected considering the Quest 2 launched in October 2020, but these specs should at least be setting a standard for the Quest 3, which in turn is a big win for VR consumers. Remember, competition is good. They are also going to be releasing a Pico 4 Pro, which is going to be an enterprise version. This one doesn't seem like it's going to launch anywhere other than China or Europe, but I'm not too hyped on enterprise level VR tech in the short term, other than to push VR tech research that will eventually filter down into consumer level VR. Examples from the Pico 4 Pro include the inclusion of eye tracking and face tracking sensors. Hopefully the production and the use of enterprise level headsets make it more affordable to include these features in consumer level headsets in the next iteration. However, the gold panel on the enterprise level Pico 4 Pro does look pretty pimp, and maybe that's going to be enough for some consumers to justify the purchase. The last thing about the Pico strategy I find extremely interesting is that they bought the exclusive rights to Just Dance VR. I know, at first this sounds pretty weird and not all that big news, but I've always had a bit of a fascination with Just Dance as they were still producing physical Nintendo Wii games up until Just Dance 2020. I find it absolutely insane that brand new physical Wii games were still being sold in North America 8 years after the Wii's first successor launched, and 3 years after the Wii's actual successor launched. What this tells me is that there must be a dedicated community around the Just Dance games that love the Wii's experience so much that Ubisoft felt it was still worth it to tap into this market. Is that fanbase dedicated enough to make their VR headset purchasing decisions completely based on this one piece of software? I guess we're going to have to wait to find out, but it seems like Pico is placing a bet on this deal that it will be worth it. Again, the Pico 4 is going to ship in Europe, Europe, Japan, and South Korea on October 18th. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date on the Pico 4 headset and how it is performing in the VR marketplace. Even though my channel right now is pretty small, I've already been accused of being a Pico fanboy. Let me tell y'all something real quick. I don't swear loyalty to any tech company. I have a gaming PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. I love them all. My mind is completely open when it comes to all of the VR headset brands that will be releasing new hardware and software over the next 10 years. I'm looking for the best tech and best experience out there, and whoever can provide that will win my dollars. That being said, if you want to accuse me of being a fanboy of any of these VR headsets, then I would say the headset I'll admit to being the closest to being a fanboy is the PlayStation VR2. And oh baby, they dropped a sweet new trailer this week called Feel a New Real. This trailer shows off many of the upcoming specs and features that we already know about, such as how it will feature 4K HDR displays consisting of two 2000 by 2040 OLED displays. But what got me super hyped during this trailer is the eye tracking demonstration they displayed. Being able to navigate menus and UI by just looking at them is going to be the most surreal experience ever. As a developer working on my own VR game, I cannot wait to work with these features hands-on at some point because I can already see how this small feature alone is going to allow for some incredibly easy to use, clean UI designs in the future. Foveated rendering is a tech that I'm very excited for when it comes to VR because not only is it going to enhance the immersion experience by creating focus based on where you are looking, but this is also going to help the performance of games as well. Space in the player's peripheral vision does not need to be rendered at such high levels of detail. Of course, the real benefits of this tech is going to be higher quality games on standalone headsets, but I'm still very excited to experience this for the first time. This headset is going to include 110 degrees field of view, which is 5 degrees more than the Pico 4. Another great small touch is going to be the finger touch detection. They showed a demo in the trailer that when you put your finger on the controller trigger, the in-game character also puts their finger on the trigger. And if you've already tried out the PS5's DualSense controller, then you already know how incredible the adaptive triggers feel. I have a feeling that this setup in the PSVR2 is going to do a pretty damn good job at tricking our brains into believing that we are pulling real triggers on real guns. Sony has also always had a big emphasis on audio, which is extremely important for the immersion experience. So I have big hopes that this headset will have the best built-in audio on the market. And the introduction of headset feedback has never made me look forward to getting headshotted so bad in my life. I still think the PSVR2 is the best looking controllers on the market. The front of the headset is not popping out as much as the black panel in the Pico 4 unfortunately, and it is incredibly sad that the PSVR2 is going to require a wired connection to the PS5. But honestly, I'm really hoping that once we get our hands on the PSVR2, that the benefits of all this new tech makes the cord a bit more manageable to deal with for the next few years. Unless their plan is, of course, to release an accessory to give players the ability to use the headset wirelessly for an additional charge. Which brings us to the concerns of this trailer, and that would be the price of the headset. It still has not been announced how much this headset is going to cost, but it is not looking like it's going to be cheap. Honestly, this is looking like it could be an $800 headset when compared to the Quest 2 or Pico 4. I know it's not a standalone like those other headsets, but hardware features alone, this is going to be an incredible headset. But with the PS5 getting its recent price increase in certain markets, it's tough to imagine this headset costing significantly less than the PS5 itself. I feel like a PS5 and a PSVR2 setup could easily be priced at $1,000 at this point, which is pretty crazy. My past predictions / hopes is that the PSVR2 will be priced at $400 US, but it seems like every week this is feeling more and more like wishful thinking. At $400, I feel like this would require Sony to sell each headset at a loss, which I'm not sure they're going to want to do. Are you excited for the Pico 4 or the PlayStation VR2? Do you think either of these headsets have what it takes to compete against Meta, or are you looking forward to a completely different headset altogether? Please let me know in the comments as I would love to discuss more. If you made it this far in the video, then please click like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. My social media links can be found in the description, including my Discord server, which all are more than welcome to join. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.